Good morning. I have a ton of unanswered comments on the videos and I thought I'll take the time to try and answer most of them. Oops, there's a lot of water here. I don't think I'm gonna take this. So today I'm in my commuter setup, also getting a little bit of a zone 2 ride in. I'm headed to the capital city, Panjim, which is about 40 kilometers from my place. I'm meeting a good friend over there for breakfast, maybe for a ride as well. And then I'm gonna spend the rest of the day working from a cafe or multiple cafes, get some work done, head back home by 4. I hope you guys enjoyed the ride so far. This is the local Goa ferry. It's a public ferry system. It's completely free. I think it's been free since the 60s. They're not in the best of shape. I mean, they offer connectivity, so people inside these places, I think that's an island over there. It's called the Borat Island, which is where Abby and his friends are coming in from. I think they're probably coming from that ferry over there. I'm gonna meet them over here, but the city is that way, so I suppose we're gonna go there. But I know there is something else that side, like an old church. If you're a Christian and if you know Christianity, there is one of these saints called Saint Francis, and his body is actually buried over here, and every 12 years or 10 years they display the body, and this is one of those years. I was supposed to do this at a cafe, but that didn't happen. I've done a couple of rides, did another ride to Panjim, a couple of people. You're gonna see a lot of this content before talking, or maybe I'll show you the content now. Take this time to answer a lot of questions and comments, just a lot of stuff, there's a lot. I was overwhelmed, I couldn't answer all of them. I kind of gave a generic reply to everybody saying I'm going to come back, and I never did that, and I feel bad, and I thought I'd make this video about y'all and all of you and all the new viewers who have landed up on the channel. I've taken a selection based on commonality amongst a lot of the comments, so if I haven't chosen yours, please don't feel bad. Your comment is valued and it's just a lot. I'm going to try and make it as accommodating for everybody. So I think a bunch of comments is about a lot of y'all were following me from before. I took a break from cycling pretty much, not much racing happening, and I was focusing on myself and my life and a lot of things. This trip has been the stimulus of coming back to a lot of things and rediscovering cycling. In fact, the whole stay in Goa, the place we're at, has been a change, wonderful change. I think another common thread was a lot of y'all talking about me looking after the guys and giving them company, being there, being that team leader, being the local guide, being the person who knows things. And I'm pretty sure they would have done really well even if they were on their own, but I think it's always good to have an insider perspective and on things. Lucky for us, I'm quite familiar with this area, at least the areas that we were cycling. In fact, this morning on a ride, I was having a chat with another guy who wants to bring his friends over to India. He's an Irishman and wants to bring, I think, 4 of them down to India. I told him about the bikepacking trip, and he was like, oh, wow. So I'm going to share the same route with him, and I think next year you'll probably see 4 Irishmen doing the same route. This one is a very interesting comment, in fact, talking about taking a drone shot of this area. And I think we did it. I'm not sure. I need to check with Lawrence, but this stretch is beautiful. If we show some B-rolls of that place. Yes, Duffred, you have been my follower for the longest time. Francis does need a power grade. This has been the most common comment across the board, across all the videos so far. I love the shirt. Not this one in particular. I think this is Francis's. I really like this one, in fact. I've been wearing this for a while now. And I really obviously like the other blue one. I'm not sure how old that shirt is. It's probably 15, 20 years, 10, 15 years old. I used to wear this before as well, but I didn't have the right bit because you need to carry your phone and the camera in this case. But honestly, since the trip, 80% of my rides, around 5 to 10 rides, I've been wearing this. It's the best thing ever. I love it. It looks cool. It looks flappy. There's no compromises on speed because you're not doing 50 kilometers per hour. Today we had a group ride. We were actually smashing it in the first half. In fact, before doing this trip, I had a couple of people tell me like, dude, how can you take a Pinarello Dogma? How can you take an electronic group set for a ride like this? What if something happens? I think electronic group sets are so... I was a big anti-electronic group set person, and now that I'm using it, it's the best thing ever. I'm not recommending that you need to have it, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. You could I've done bikepacking trips on fixed gear bikes, on gravel bikes, on road bikes, and on aero road bikes like this, like the Dogma and the Look 795. It doesn't really matter. I think as long as you know how to handle your bike, you know what to do, you know how to maintain your bike, it doesn't really matter. But the Dogma F10 performed like a charm. Oh yeah, so I think somebody did say, I hope you reach 2,000 subscribers. Thank you. I've got more than 2,000 subscribers. I think I got about 2,300 subscribers over the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Thank you. It's amazing. And riding with Lawrence, absolute game changer. This guy is so strong. I held on to his wheel for a good 2.5 minutes or 2 minutes, pushing out a lot of watts. Yeah, I just had to back off because he was just absolutely motoring it up. Somebody did ask me about this for the Bikepacking India series transition that I had. Like, it had multiple things, and then Bikepacking India. That was Bikepacking India written in I think 5 different languages of the areas that we cycled from. So it is Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada, Tulu, Konkani, English of course, and Hindi. A bunch of people asked me about the gear that I was wearing. So yeah, this is Alba Optics, and the helmet I have is an Abus Airbreaker. I think another thing was people asked me to join the boys for their other bikepacking trips. Definitely. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year. It needs a lot of planning because I'm working, I work remote. It will be absolutely ridiculous if the 4 of us can do something crazy again. To add to the Dogma thing, yeah, this is exactly what a Dogma was not designed for. So it's perfect. I live by that statement. How cost effective or cheap things are around here. If you compare it apples to apples situation from Europe or Britain to India, things are super cheap here compared to what you earn there and what you would spend here. But in India, if you're from the middle class and above, these are quite affordable for you. Like, we have one of the most affordable data plans on telecom. You can get a range, so you can get bread that costs 20 rupees for a loaf, which is a couple of cents, to almost 500 rupees a loaf, which is the artisanal bread, which is almost like €5, I think. So you have a range. Like, the thing about India is it's a land of extremities. You have things that are super premium, you have things that are super cheap, and it's spread across the board. Somebody in the comments saw Steffi in Germany while they were doing a bikepacking trip. She lives in the area of Brandenburg, the state of Brandenburg near Berlin, and they saw her in the trails and passed by her, and that's so cool. It's such a small world. About the latest video, cake, yes. Didn't get cake last time, I got cake this time. Unfortunately, I didn't film it because I was just smashing through that cake, 2 double espressos, and talking heaps to my friend, my new friend who I met over the ride, who is going to be doing that ride next year with his mates, the Irishman. So unfortunately I couldn't film that, but please be assured I got my cake and I'm super happy. I'm so glad that we met because of cycling. Cycling got us together. We're still cycling, and often when we go out cycling, it's probably the best thing we can do together as husband and wife, or as then partners. And yeah, I'm very fortunate to have someone like this in my life. Absolutely. So that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you everybody again for the support. I hope it's not too long in this one, but next week's video is going to be very interesting. You must have seen the calm attempt or the POV attempt that we took of climbing up that hill. So next week, the video, we're going to be actually aiming to do a very classic Strava social thing, which is get comms in Panjim. We'll also show you a bit of Panjim, the capital city of Goa, show you a little bit of history of the area, the whole Portuguese and Indian connection, and a lot of suffering, climbing up hills. Thank you so much.